Welcome to Evidence Pending My Paranormal Life. I'm your host, Michael Lee Pennock. Not everything that's happened in my life has happened in the evening. Some things have happened in broad daylight. The story I'm about to recount happened. And although it's not necessarily paranormal, it does have a degree of high strangeness to it, purely on what I saw. The things I saw were physical. I could touch them. I was on my own, isolated in a way, and quite far from the nearest village. I hope you enjoy this short story. It was late November 2010, and I decided to take myself for a little walk in some of the worst conditions that we'd had that year. It snowed. This was the route I took. It led down the old cinder track and along to a place called Ravenscar, taking in some beautiful coastal routes on the way, including Robin Hood's Bay and Boggle Hole, home of the legendary Boggle or Boggart. This is the only picture I have of that day. My phone died, and so did my camera that I had at the time. Due to the wintry conditions, it was a bit treacherous along the coast, so I decided to head back inland and ended up at this place, the Falcon Inn. And then I continued my walk along the coastal route. Snow was quite heavy, and then as I was walking, I noticed some unusual prints. They didn't look like anything I'd ever seen before, and although they were bird-like, they were much larger. I decided to follow them. Really, I should have turned back about 5 miles in, but I didn't. Even though the snow was quite deep and it was sapping me energy, I made my way back to the coast. And it was here I noticed some rather unusual tracks, but they were faded and the snow had blown into a lot of them. Couldn't really make them out. The smaller ones were still seen quite clearly, but the bigger ones, prints couldn't really be made out, but they were large, very large. One was size 10 boot and they were nearly twice that size, and twice as broad as the broadest part. I stopped, took the rucksack off and then measured them using my stick. They looked like some sort of bear. And when I say big, the animation don't do them justice. My estimation is, whatever it was between 10 and 16 feet tall. After seeing them prints, I decided I'd start making my way home, and as the sun was setting, it got very eerie. I thought about it all the way back to Whitby. The prints I saw that afternoon in the snow were very large, and as I said, nearly twice the size of my foot. What they were, I'm still unsure, but one thing I'm fairly certain of is they weren't a boggle. I'll see you on the other side.
No.